My point in elucidating to you that scenario about the girl, the daughter to the Christian parents that has so many nightmares about the boogeyman, that the family take her to a psychiatrist. Now, all because religion isn't approached by even a medical scientist as a potential force of intellectual corruption, that child might have been spurting early concepts of logistics, power, why doesn't God make the boogeyman go away? God must want to hurt me. My parents are in on it. The child could go through all those phases, and the scene, the feral fucking scene of the person in a bind, potentially in a bind of a bind of a bind, and the fucking inbred fucking Christian parents calling for a fucking intervention from fucking government hospital personnel. Psycho. You're the one who called a remaining son having to impregnate his mum after murdering his brother creation in the image of God. Like, either I have to be psycho, or you're not going to know I'm nice deep down, and no one will. I have to mediate with you, cunt, some way. I'm not going to share your beliefs. You have an idea what that does to your orgasms? So, the story talks about the concept, which is a dangerous concept to think about, which is the true phenomenology of a person suffering, being misdescribed and concealed by the bond of the good faith trust, both in the heads of the parents and in the heads of approached medical health care personnel authorities. So I wanted you to think about that, because a lot of people out there, all that kid might have needed was a conversation that religious parents didn't think about and that psychiatrists didn't think about. Oh yeah, thinking outside of God's existence. What? I need to watch him I need to watch him stroke his beard while I stroke my dick. No, I fucking saying God in bed and Jesus in bed or climax. Repugnant. So to satisfy your tastes, let me get this straight, Calvary Hospital. You believe that you were created in the image of God means take after, in your concepts of ancestry, a man who kills his brother and then fucks to the point of impregnation his own mother. Or he did not reproduce, and then Adam just had more children with Eve later or something. How did it go? Can you tell me how it goes from the start of one woman and one man? It'd be the most interesting episode of Sally Jesse Raphael, Phil Donahue, Dr. Phil. And Oprah Winfield 25 red cigarettes that I've ever seen. So, you thought, because it's so sacred, it needs to be preserved. But damn that woman for eating an apple. Oh my, should society ever find itself in a conundrum concerning the phenomenology of women's rights? But let's keep praising that apple story and work out a way to that. I'd like to see a woman's fruiterer, corporate takeout, maybe, or team up with Conn. I'm nothing against Conn the fruiterer. But anyway, this was so sacrosanct that you conceal. So, of course, there's no concealment there, is there? There's no concealment of murder and incest with the claim created in the image of dog. So you're going to keep finding ways to keep that image nice and shiny. And one of them was that you found a guy who had a poetic knack, despite being raised in a carpentry. And you thought you would ransom kidnap, cash money, ransom kidnap, suicide, rape, murder him up a hill, on a hilltop. And that's one way that you found it helps you to keep your image of dog nice and shiny. And yet you're so surprised and startled about phenomena of the mind and psyche. Why isn't the thought of stars, which is not only more scientifically plausible, it's quite beautiful, really. Stars colliding into ponds where monkeys were breeding, causing some neurobiological shift in the offspring. It accounts for the different ethnicities with your Adam and Eve story. Church of Kidland fails to address it all. So then there's racial shit that wouldn't happen if it weren't for this, perhaps for this feral creation story either. Celebrate Australia Day and our proud heritage. We're on stolen land, and 1 in 5 Australians are going to learn how to steal better. That would be the final, I think, ideological move by Roger and his poof against me will be stating, did you initiate all these situations, including all my choices and moves from the start? Did you fake it all from the start? Of me mistreating you is what he'll be left with, and that's because you believe you're created inbred in a garden. And you have not contested the existence of God as a bullshit claim by the mind of your scientists. So that's where you'll end up. And you'll continue to think dumb things, say dumb things, be wrong in judging guilt, until the day that you'll need to go, if a person is not a religious member or adherent, then I, Roger Mark B. Nelson Toll, am intellectually incapable of judging them, for it will only lead to misjudgment. It's why we have a Religious Discrimination Act. But Nietzsche wrote very well. I see Nietzsche's downfall perhaps has been it's the same as the Freemasons, the classification of Jesus as a martyr. The man isn't given a fair trial because in Nietzsche's day they didn't recognize Marx's gospel isolated as the byproduct of an isolated study. Yeah. So this religious filth I see everywhere, just as Nietzsche wrote in the Antichrist. I think it's around paragraph or section 8. And the point where I feel sad for him is on the fact that because he did not, in his critique of Jesus, he had not considered the Gospel of Mark isolated from St. Matthew, St. Luke, and St. John. He didn't then go and read St. Mark and go, oh, they had that first. Oh, then this is the story of a religiously motivated killing plus cover-up. So he just dismissed him completely as a martyr. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if that accounts for his a number of things. Both the fact that, given how he was raised to the age of 5, how and why his wedding proposal was declined by the woman, and also his insanity in his later years. Because he didn't point his finger on what was wrong. He did get that, yeah, there's a lot is wrong with these Gospels of Jesus, but he bunched them together in his dismissal. And that's the Freemasons' error too. Only the Freemasons are still doing it. And so because of it, there will be types of people that they just will find to be too different to them, that they will think have to be martyrs of some kind, as they haven't ironed out the differences in their definition of what constitutes a martyr and their proofs of how they know a martyr when they think that, when they're looking at one or whatever. Nietzsche's dismissal of Jesus on the... Yeah, right. You are reading hysteric religious nonsense bullshit in Matthew, Luke, and John. You sort of aren't in St. Mark's Gospel. So, I think if you go in your heart against the principle of the unfair mistreatment of anyone, you're self-divided. And that's the upshot of what I think an unbeliever who has detracted from the Christian church can gain, perhaps, from recognizing that, well, he's not a savior or a martyr. It seems that this was a creative thinker that got mistreated and killed, but he didn't die for me or you. Unless you were to be really symbolic in your use of language and think of you being left with a bunch of unanswered and unaddressed questions. In which case he'd just be going, I'm dead on unjust grounds, so kiss my ass and fuck off. I like it in Rick and Morty. He just gets the fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Actually, in that regard, went up to be an experience that I would consider worse than a church. You know the way out in a church. This is the disgusting with the supernatural. If you had a gash in your leg 2,000 years ago, it would be supernatural if I spat in the wound to help heal it. That was a supernatural belief. So they throw around the word supernatural like it's superannuation plus Super Mario plus Super Christopher Reeves combined, and it's still spinning in a gash leg. To heal it, And good morning. Roger Sol and Gary Cairns. There are well good reasons why the two of you mongs are better off selling fishing line to people that want to fish or hang themselves. You are both a couple of spastics who for years designed my workplace experience on the basis of you think I thought that the voiceover to a short film was the 10 Commandments being dictated. No. How many of your siblings and blood relatives have you poked around and into? Flaming faggots. If you are a religious person, it should be a law in Australia. You are not allowed to, in violation of the Privacy Act, devise or design a situation or scenario for another person, because you've got this jacked inbred religion based on dumb faggot assumptions, and then you take a little surprise on top of that. And it's like watching the shittest show on earth. Yeah, so chemistry was teaching him how we know how to kill everyone while lying about it, to make a lot of money and then live forever in the Freemason afterlife. This is why I think they should be, if they don't take care of their own when they have them, they cross them, and if they don't tidy up their mistakes when they make them, they don't deserve to be hiding while saying we're everywhere or whatever. They need to be pushed through the market square. Market square, market square. So yeah, with that company, after they go, let's spend 9 years teaching the boy how to kill everybody, can make a lot of money and live forever in the Freemason afterlife. No, which they didn't even say if it would have hookers and coke or anything. I'm angry about that.